Hello students, today we are going to study class 7 biology and please turn back to page number 33, that is chapter number 2, kingdom classification. So first of all I just want to tell you what is classification. Classification means differentiation of the different organisms based on certain common characters, okay, grouping of the organisms. As we know, in this living world millions, billions of organisms are there. 1.7 to 1.8 million organisms are there in the universe, and in order to study them in a proper way we need to classify them. Okay, so classification make us the study of the different organisms easy. So next term comes the taxonomy. Taxonomy is what? It is a biological science which deals with the identification. Okay, first of all, what is in taxonomy we do? We identify the organism, which organism it is, and then name it, give a proper name to it, and then classify it to which group or which category we should keep these very organisms. So taxonomist, the person who just do the study of this science, taxonomy, are known as taxonomist. They give a scientific name to every living creature. Why so? Why to provide a scientific name to different organism? Why it's required? It is required because, for example, sparrow. Okay, it's very common. The common Hindi name of this sparrow is Goraiya. In Hindi we call this bird as Goraiya. But in Pakistan it might be called by some another name. In some other countries, England, America, okay, in China, Japan, Spain, in these very countries they must be called by some another name. So if it will be very confusing. Okay, so that's why the science organization, international science organization, what they do, they give a particular scientific name to every organisms. And when on a scientific front, when we talk about these very organisms, at that very time that very name is used, so it's very clear ki what we are talking about, what we are discussing, because that scientific name is very common, it's universal, it's common. Okay, so everyone is very familiar ki on which topic or we are discussing which plant, which animal. So in order to avoid this confusion, this naming of the organisms is very required. Now turn back your pages, come to the next page, that is page number 34, advantages of classification. So how this classification is beneficial, how it helps us. So it helps us because it is arranging the organisms in different groups or set based on their similarities or differences. We just observe the organisms, we see what is similar in between them, what is different in between them. In that very basis they are put into particular group, and this make the study very easy. So first advantage of this classification is make the study easy. Second, we just have a look at classification. This organism is belonging to this very group, then it must be having this very character. So we can easily predict ki if the organism is belonging to that very group, it's very obvious ki this organism will be having these very features. So it's make the study very systematic and very easily to get. Then third point is, if the organism is put into that very group, then we can find out the easy ki this organism is in this very group, then this will be the characters, this will be the similarities, these are the difference, this will be the way it will be behaving. So that very thing is very clear. Then again what's happening in the study of biogeography, if we just find that very organism in that very group, it makes the study of the biological sciences very easy. In which way we can easily predict out the geographical distribution of that very plant or animal. Okay, it's belonging to this very group, it's having this very character, it must be found in the dry area. This very organism must be found in the wet areas. So in this way it's very easily predictable. So it's very beneficial in the study of science. Now you can see here a schematic hierarchy representation of the classification of the system. First of all, organisms is grouped into species, then genus, then family, order, class, phylum and kingdom. species is one of the lowest division and the kingdom is the highest. Okay, in this very order the organisms is grouped. First of all, if they're having more character in common, then the species, they are put in the same species. Okay, then again into genus, then again into family. As the level is increasing, division is increasing, what is happening? The similarities are decreasing, and as we come down, what is happening? The similarities is increasing among the organisms. Now now come the naming. Okay, the organisms are named to its binomial nomenclature. What does it means? It means that scientific name comprises of two units. Okay, first one is the name of the genus. So the name of the genus is always written in the capital letter. The first letter will be in capital letters. It is written in Latin, but if it's handwritten, we have to underline it. So genus name, if it's the members of having the same genus name, they have the similar features, similar characters in common. Okay, most of them characters will be common. For example, if your family title is Singh, okay, then after generation this title is going to be same, so that's act as a surname. Okay, now as you can see that the second name is the name of the species, and it is the first letter of the species name should be written in the small letters, and both the genus and species name, first we write the genus name, then we write the species name, and then genus first letter will be capital, species first letter will be small, and then we are going to underline the, if it's handwritten, then we are supposed to underline it, and if it's typed one, it should be written in Latin. So whatever rules, whatever regulation, how we are supposed to name it, which organism will be which group, which division, it's all being monitored, guided by the International Code of Biological Nomenclature. The naming thing is looked by this International Code of Biological Nomenclature. So here you can see that Rana tigrina. Okay, it's a name of frog. Rana is the genus name, species name is Tigrina. Okay, so as you can see, the first letter is in capital, and then its first letter is small letter. It is written in Latin, and if you write it within a handwritten, then the both Rana and Tigrina has to be underlined. And then the question arises, why we are using Latin? There are so many languages in the world. English is nowadays it's a global languages, but why we are using Latin for the biological nomenclature? So this is so because this Latin language, this is very, very uniform. Okay, it's all it's similar, it's very, very precise, no confusion is there in using this language, and it's very easy to write, it is easy to understand. That's why Latin is being used for this international nomenclature of the different organisms. Now biological, come back to the next page, that is page number 35. Now it's come it's known as the binomial nomenclature because it is having two names, genus name and the species name. That's why it's known as binomial. Binomial means two. Okay, for example, lion's full name is Panthera leo. Panther is its genus and Leo is its species name. So panther, this genus name is it's not that it is used for the tiger only. This panther will be common for the other organisms also, whether it's a leopard, lion, tiger. Okay, so this is a proper, if we say Panther tigris, it means we are talking about a tiger. If we say Panthera leo, it means we are talking about a lion. So this binomial nomenclature was given by Linnaeus and he has written the books known as Plantarum, which was published in 1753. He is known as the father of taxonomy, and he has given this binomial system of nomenclature. Now what he said that this is lowest category is the species. We are just have a look on the hierarchical level now, just right now, figure 2.1. Here you have seen the smallest level category is the species and the highest is the kingdom. And as we go up, what is happening? The similarities is decreasing, and as we come down from kingdom to a species, the similarity increases. Now we are going to deal with every hierarchy divisions. First of all, come to page 35 again. Now just have a look on species. So it's a basic unit of taxonomy, and what is happening, the group of individuals which are put in the species, they have the same morphological features. Okay, their outer morphological features, their structure will be almost same, and they can just breed among themselves and give the offspring. Structurally and functionally, the organisms are almost same that are put into the same species. Now genus. Here the group of species of that have related character, more or less they are put in the same genus. The members of the genus have the same identical reproductive organs. Okay, the method or the means of reproduction will be almost same. For example, banyan and fig trees, they are different from each other, and vegetative characters, shape, size, surface of leaf, these but resemble, they are not same. Okay, the vegetative characters is different, but the reproductive character or organs is similar. That's why they are put into the same genus. Now family, here this group of related genera. Okay, different genera that are more or less similar, they are put into same family. Okay, for example, cat, lion, they belong to the family of Felidae. Okay, both have the similar in structure and have retractive claws. Okay, they are resembling in some characters, that's why they are in the same family. Now order. Here the different families that are having more or less resemblance in character, few characters are maybe same or different, because of that very thing only they are put into the same order. For example, you can see tiger, wolf, they are sharing some common characteristics such as jaws and incisors, large and sharp beginnings. Okay, because of that very thing they are put into the same order, that is carnivora. Now class, here the organisms have different related order has put into this because they are sharing some common characters. Okay, for example, the chordates, rat, dogs, bat, dolphins, these all are put into the same class, that is Mammalia. Now phylum, here the different classes having same characters in common, they are put into same phylum, and few of the characters are common. For example, all the animals which are notochord present in the embryo belong to the phylum Chordata. Okay, that are having the notochord are present in the phylum called Chordata. Now kingdom, here it includes organisms that have distinguished common characters. Okay, they are having some distinguishing common character in common, that's why they are put into the same kingdom. And for example, plant kingdom or animal kingdom, it's very clear out. Okay, if organisms we are talking about, it's a plant, then simply the kingdom will be plant. If the organisms we are talking about, it's an animal, it will be in the animal kingdom. It's a very clear out classification. So hopefully you might have understood everything. Now turn back to page number 36. In the next class we are going to discuss about classification kingdoms. Okay, here you can see in page number 36, test your understanding is given over here. Fill in the blanks is given here. 4 fill in the blanks are there, but you are supposed to do only first 3 fill in the blanks. Try to answer it in the book itself. Thank you.